Hello and welcome to the Eye, your English news bulletin. I'm Esther. These are the headlines. Amid the pandemic, the high-powered committee of the Government of Nagaland under the chairmanship of the Chief Minister and after thorough deliberation, it has been decided to further extend the lockdown till June 18 but with more relaxation. Amid COVID-19 fear in animals, a total of 28 elephants underwent the COVID-19 test on Tuesday at Mudumalai Tiger Reserve in Chennai. A Muslim woman, Razia Sultana, has made history by becoming the first Muslim woman to become DSP by clearing the 64th exam of Bihar Public Service Commission. Now for the news in details. Amid the pandemic, the high-powered committee of the Government of Nagaland under the chairmanship of the Chief Minister and after thorough deliberation, it has been decided to further extend the lockdown till June 18 but with more relaxation. The first lockdown was announced by the HPC on May 14. Spokesperson on COVID-19 Government of Nagaland, Monlo Mokikon, also tweeted that after thorough discussion with all district task forces, it was decided to extend the lockdown till June 18 with further relaxations while respective DTFs to issue necessary SOPs according to the situations of the district. In this regard, Niba Kruno, who is also the other spokesperson for COVID-19, has issued another notice directing that timings for shopping to be enhanced for essential commodities and should be recommended to the war room. Laborers from outside without negative report will not be allowed. Maximum of 20 members and below will be allowed in the churches for prayer services, stationery shops to be open and online classes to continue. Train services to Dimapu railway station will remain halted. After the extension of lockdown till June 18 with more relaxation, the Government of Nagaland has issued a new set of system operating procedures to be followed. Let's have a look. The practice of no mask, no movement and no mask, no entry shall be strictly enforced by the respective district task forces and law enforcing agencies. Permitted shops and business establishments shall be allowed to open between 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. However, DTFs may decide the timing as per the local conditions. Shops selling stationeries, mobile phones and computer accessories, garages for automobile repairing and shops selling vehicle spare parts shall be allowed to open on alternate days as determined by the respective DTFs. Regular religious services and gatherings shall continue to be suspended. However, prayer meetings and fellowships may be allowed in religious places with not more than 20 persons with strict adherence to COVID-19 appropriate behavior. Administrative offices of schools, colleges with a core group of officers, staff shall be permitted to attend to urgent and essential matters. Private businesses, office with a core group of officers and staff may be permitted to attend to urgent and essential matter with the permission of the respective district task forces. New construction works may be permitted after examination by the respective DTFs and fresh laborers shall be allowed as per provisions under the revised SOP for returnees and travellers. Common service centers across the state shall be permitted to open as per the requirements of the respective DTFs for IT support during COVID-19 vaccination. Light motor vehicles, including taxis and auto rickshaws, shall be allowed to ply on odd-even basis. Drivers of the taxi, auto rickshaws shall need to get negative COVID-19 test reports. The DTFs may, however, consider imposing restrictions depending on the prevailing situation to prevent the spread of COVID-19. Bus services, two-wheeler, taxi services and pillion riding shall remain suspended. Team Dimapu led by Nodal Officer Y. Kiketo Sema along with the DC Deputy Commissioner Rajesh Sondarajan and Commissioner of Police Rotihu Tetsuo visited several NGOs and civil societies today to acknowledge them for the help rendered in the fight against the pandemic. The officials met the director of Hope Charitable Foundation, Lingri Jan, and also the Rotary Club President Chandu Agarwal and their team, and lauded them for their continued support and cooperation not only during the first but also the second COVID wave. The team also met and acknowledged the Dimapu Bong's president and members of the humanitarian services by providing more than 100 packed food to the poor people and also for coming forward to donate blood when the need arises. Team Dimapu also visited Sikh Gurdwara and met with the President Hardev Singh and members. Dubbing them as brave warriors, Sema mentioned that Sikh community were the first amongst the NGOs this year and even last year too, rendering philanthropic services to the fight against COVID-19. He reiterated on the huge responsibility shouldered by Dimapu district being the gateway of Nagaland and reminded that the war will go on and asserted that it will be won. Appreciating the decision of the high-powered committee for extension of lockdown for another week, Sema admitted that economic activities are needed but maintained that human lives were more important. Former Congress leader and Union Minister Jitin Prasada joined the Bharatiya Janata Party on Wednesday in presence of the party leader and Union Minister Piyush Goyal. Prasada, a big Brahmin name, joined the BJP ahead of the crucial Uttar Pradesh Assembly elections. Two-time Member of Parliament, Prasada is a young leader who has been a close aide of former Congress President Rahul Gandhi. Giving him the membership slip, Piyush Goyal said that Jitin Prasada has spent his life working for Uttar Pradesh. He was just 27 when his father passed away and he was working in Mumbai at such a young age. He went to various districts of UP and worked for the people of UP. Prasada started his career with Indian Youth Congress as a General Secretary. He was elected to the Lok Sabha in 2004 for the first time. He was also a minister in the UPA government at the centre. Speaking at the press conference today, Prasada felt that the party he was in was not helping and working for people. He realized he cannot work for people being in Congress party. What is the relevance of staying in a party if you can't protect interests of your people or work for them, he said. He thanked the people in Congress who blessed him all these years, but now will work as a dedicated BJP worker, he added. There is no scientific evidence to believe that children will be adversely affected during a possible third wave of COVID-19, All India Institute of Medical Sciences Director Randeep Guleria has said. Dispelling fears that children could be at risk of serious infection, Guleria said that there was no evidence that children could be at risk of serious COVID-19 diseases in the third wave. In the second wave, 60 to 70% of the children admitted to hospitals had comorbidities. Healthy children did not need hospitalization and recovered at home. There is no data or evidence, be it Indian or global, to show that children are at risk of serious infection. This is misinformation that children would be adversely affected, Guleria said. A third wave could be prevented if COVID-19 appropriate behavior is followed, he said. We need to understand why waves come. They come when viruses mutate. It is also because of human behavior. This pattern we saw during the Spanish flu in 1918 when the second wave was the biggest. After that there was a smaller third wave. When cases come down, we start unlocking. During this time, people's behavior changes and they start getting lax and new waves are formed. If we need to prevent a third wave, we need to follow COVID-19 appropriate behavior, Dr. Guleria said. Congress will hold a nationwide symbolic protest in front of petrol pumps on June 11th across the country against rising fuel prices. The opposition party has decided to hit the streets after the fuel prices have crossed the 100 rupee mark in several states. Party has instructed all the state units and frontal organization to hold protests and demand for a rollback the price rise. Congress General Secretary Organization K.C. Venugopal has asked the state units to hold symbolic protests against the public loot and urgent demand to roll back the price rise. He has further communicated that there should be a visible public campaign against the unchecked rise in prices of petrol and diesel and its impact on the people who are battling an unprecedented economic slowdown, widespread unemployment, wage reductions, and job losses. The protest will also involve the senior leaders of the party too. K.C. Venugopal has said in a letter to state unions that the whole country is witnessing a spiraling rise in the petrol price and diesel even amidst the pandemic. The rise in petrol prices will ultimately lead to an unprecedented hike in the price of all household items and essential commodities. Petrol prices have breached the 100 rupee mark in many states. In the last 13 months, petrol and diesel prices have been rising, which is at a record high currently. Amid COVID-19 fear in animals, a total of 28 elephants underwent the COVID-19 test on Tuesday at Mudumalai Tiger Reserve in Chennai. The samples were sent to Indian Veterinary Research Institute in Uttar Pradesh, and reports are expected to come within a few days. This came after a lioness died of COVID-19 and a few other lions tested positive for the virus at the Arignar Anna Zoological Park. Following this, State Forest Minister Ramachandran ordered the COVID-19 test for all the elephants in Mudumalai Tiger Reserve. In this special camp, trunk wash samples as well as rectal swab samples were collected from all the 28 elephants and sent to Indian Veterinary Research Institute, said Dayanandan, Forest Ranger, Tapakad Elephant Camp. The test was conducted for all the 28 elephants aged from 2 to 60 years and the results are expected in a couple of days, said Dayanandan. Last month, 2 lionesses had tested positive for COVID-19 at Etawah Safari Park in Uttar Pradesh and 8 Asiatic lions at the Nehru Zoological Park, Hyderabad, had tested positive for the virus on May 4th. With 92,596 new COVID-19 cases registered in the last 24 hours, India reported less than 1 lakh COVID-19 cases for the second consecutive day, informed the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare on Wednesday. India on Tuesday reported 86,498 new COVID-19 cases. On Monday, the country had reported 1,636 new COVID-19 cases. The COVID tally in India has now reached 2,90,89,069 with 12,31,415 active cases after 57 days. According to Union Health Ministry, the weekly positivity rate currently stands at 5.66%. The daily positivity rate has dropped to 4.66%, less than 10% for the 16th consecutive days. Notably, the recoveries have continued to outnumber the daily COVID cases. As many as 1,62,664 patients recovered from the disease in the last 24 hours. The total number of recoveries had reached 2,75,04,126 in the country, taking the recovery rate at 94.55%. Under Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Urban, the government has approved 708 proposals for the construction of 3.61 lakh houses. The decision was taken at the 54th meeting of the Central Sanctioning and Monitoring Committee under PMAYU held in the national capital on Tuesday. According to the press statement by the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, the meeting was attended by 13 states and union territories. These houses are proposed to be constructed across beneficiary-led construction and affordable housing in partnership verticals. In addition, PMAYU Awards 2021 100 Days Challenge was also launched by Durga Shankar Mishra, Secretary, Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. The awards are given to recognize and celebrate the outstanding contribution and performances by states, union territories, urban local bodies, and beneficiaries for successful implementation of the mission and create a healthy competition, said the release. This was the first CSMC meeting during the second wave of the COVID-19 pandemic. The states and union territories also put in their proposals for revision of projects due to various issues such as of land, topographical hazards, intercity migration, change of preferences of verticals, and loss of lives. In its press release, the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs said that with this as on date, the total number of sanctioned houses under PMAYU is now 112.4 lakh, and so far 82.5 lakh have been grounded for construction, of which 48.31 lakh have been completed. In other news, a Muslim woman, Razia Sultana, has made history by becoming the first woman to become DSP by clearing the 64th exam of Bihar Public Service Commission. Although Razia is the first Muslim woman, there have been Muslim men on duty before. The number of Muslim men was also less. This year, only 4 out of total 40 officials are Muslim. In totality, only 98 out of 1,454 Muslims have managed to clear the exam till this date. M. Rahman, a big name in the coaching industry for civil services, has revealed that no Muslim woman has been able to crack it before, and Razia making everyone proud by being the first one to clear her exam in the first attempt. Razia Sultan has passed her 10th in the year 2009 and passed her 12th in the year 2011, both from Bokaro. Following this, she went to Jodhpur in order to pursue a bachelor's degree in electrical engineering. Since the year 2017, she has been working as an assistant engineer in the power department in Patna. Razia has joined her duties as DSP, and her first responsibility will be crime control. Along with crime control, she has to make sure that the cases of domestic violence and other crimes against women stop in her presence. Assam police has arrested 3 food delivery boys for allegedly peddling drugs in Guwahati. The police said that they seized 13 vials containing brown sugar weighing 6 grams. They said that the houses of arrested food delivery boys were being searched for other incriminating materials. The arrests were made by Paltan Bazar police on Monday. The officials said that a search operation was conducted at South Sarania under Paltan Bazar police station, and 3 peddlers, Subhankar Sarkar, Brojan Das and Gayatri Roy, have been apprehended. The 3 are residents of the South Sarania area. They were working with food delivery companies Zomato and Swiggy, it was informed by the official. Guwahati police has made a tweet and said a video was shared by a Good Samaritan. The World Trade Organization should penalize bad behavior when it occurs, Australia's Prime Minister said Wednesday ahead of a group of 7 leaders meeting in Britain, where he hopes to garner support in a trade dispute with China. Prime Minister Scott Morrison said Australia would be working with others to buttress the role of the World Trade Organization and to modernize its rule book where necessary. The Australian government announced in December it would ask the World Trade Organization to intervene in its dispute with China over barley, and expects other nations to come forward and involve in the case. China effectively ended imports of Australian barley in May 2020 by putting tariffs of more than 80% on the crop, accusing Australia of breaching WTO rules by subsidizing barley production and selling the grain in China at below production costs. Trade in Australian seafood, wood, beef, wine, and coal has also been disrupted since Australia angered China by requesting an independent inquiry into the origins of the coronavirus pandemic. The Geneva-based WTO, which makes rules governing international trade, is facing calls for restructuring and reform as it struggles to forge a long-awaited World Trade Pact. A well-functioning WTO that sets clear rules, arbitrates disputes objectively and efficiently, penalizes bad behavior when it occurs. This can be one of the most powerful tools the international community has to counter economic coercion, Morrison said. El Salvador has become the first country in the world to officially classify Bitcoin as legal currency. Congress approved President Nayib Bukele's proposal to embrace the cryptocurrency with 62 out of 84 possible votes on Tuesday night. The president said the government had made history and that the move would make it easier for Salvadorans living abroad to send money home. Bitcoin will become legal tender alongside the US dollar in 90 days. The new law means every business must accept Bitcoin as legal tender for goods and services unless it is unable to provide the technology technology needed to do the transaction. It will bring financial inclusion, investment, tourism, innovation, and economic development for the country, President said in a tweet shortly before the vote. He has previously said that the move would open up financial services to the 70% of Salvadorans who do not have bank accounts. El Salvador's economy relies heavily on remittances, or money sent home from abroad, which make up around 20% of the country's gross domestic product. More than 2 million Salvadorans live outside the country, but they continue to keep close ties to their place of birth, sending back more than $4 billion each year. That's all for tonight's English News Bulletin. Do subscribe to our channel and also follow Hornbill TV Official on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube and Instagram. I'm Esther. Have a good evening.